example, Nabeel Nowairah is an expert on Yemen and on wider Gulf politics. He joins me now from Washington, D.C. Nabeel, good to have you on the show. It's been 6 years. I'm wondering why a coalition that possesses far superior weapons and arms like the Saudi coalition hasn't been able to declare some sort of victory here.
Yes, and I think this is for a number of reasons. First and foremost, generally speaking, it's getting more difficult on the international arena to win traditional wars, a military versus another military. But also on that level, we need to understand that the Saudi Arabia and its allies on the coalition rely more on airstrikes without actually troops on the ground in the territories controlled by the Houthis. Yes, they have Yemeni troops in some parts of Yemen in the south and also in some northern governorates. Marib is an example, but they have not launched any significant offensive against the areas under the control of the Houthis by the coalition troops. So they're more rely morely on airstrikes. But also another reason is that the geography of Yemen is very difficult, especially the northern part of Yemen where Houthis control. And also another factor is the characteristics of the Yemeni people and the tribal nature of the Yemenis who actually resist any foreign intervention. All these factors, I think, in general, make it very difficult for any power, even if Yemen is the poorest country in the region and Saudi Arabia is the richest country in the region. And Saudi Arabia, of course, has different countries allying with it. It has been difficult to win this war. So I think these are the main reasons that make it difficult for any countries, even if we have also more involvement from any other countries. The war has reached a stalemate that it's difficult to be won by any parties of the war now.
Nabeel, I want to talk to you about the humanitarian situation. You know, ever so often, the victims in prolonged wars like this are none other than civilians. I mean, you have a generation of children in Yemen who know nothing but conflict now.
This is true, and actually, the disaster of the war will live actually for much longer, even after the war ends. So we were talking about, hundreds of thousands of people who have lost their lives in this war. We're talking about, almost 80% of the Yemeni people in need of humanitarian disaster, need of humanitarian assistance. We're also talking about tens of thousands of people who are in detentions and held with the different parties to the conflict. We're also talking about, almost half of the Yemeni children under the age of 5 are facing acute malnutrition. So, and this is a disaster by all means. And as it is described by the United Nations, it is the worst humanitarian disaster in the world today. So I think, and also the people living there now, I mean, they have, there's a serious inflation in the currency, makes it very difficult for people to live. The commodities, basic commodities are very expensive, and also there are a scarcity of jobs and also any ways for income generation. So I think the war is not going to be won by any of the parties, and I think everyone understands this. All the parties understand this, and the diplomatic solution is the only one. And the longer the war continues today, the longer its repercussions, consequences on the long term on Yemen and also on Saudi Arabia and the region in general.
Okay. Nabeel Nowairah, thanks for joining us live for us from Washington.